Hey everyone, it's Will here with the Commander Duo, coming at you with a long-awaited tutorial guide on how to make your own Magic the Gathering altered proxies completely from scratch. This will include creating the card itself, creating your own set symbols and watermarks if needed, as well as some post-editing settings and tricks you can do to enhance your cards further. But first, I would like to address a big question many people are probably having is, how are we supposed to alter Cardconjurers down? What do we use? Well, as some of you, or maybe most of you know already, a favorite site for many Magic players was taken down at the end of last year for a cease and desist from Wizards. The website is Cardconjurer, which is probably known throughout the Magic community as being the best card altering site to make cards with. And the reason why it really was truly taken down wasn't because of any kind of paywalls, wasn't because he did have a Patreon, but it was a completely optional thing, just to support like the site costs and things like that, and just to support him in general, because I mean it was a great site. The main reason was due to the assets. The frame, set symbols, all of that stuff were completely identical to Wizards set symbols and all that. So really, you could create a carbon copy of a card and make it look completely official, like an actual Magic card. So it doesn't have like slightly altered mana symbols, and it's not like Cardsmith or places where it kind of looks bad quality, or just doesn't quite look right. Like with a Cardsmith card or with the Magic set editor, you could see the difference with a card produced from that. And another issue is a lot of places were using probably Cardconjurer, maybe other sites, to make their own proxies and then resell them on Etsy. It's actually a pretty big issue. And they're not claiming it as like counterfeit. It's not like the Chinese like counterfeit cards that look just like Magic cards. These are ones that are clearly proxies, but I mean they're using other sites and assets to create these. Some of them actually make them themselves, and then they sell like proxy dual lands and different things like that, but they sell them at like a premium price. So that was just an issue because, you know, it's letting their asset get out of control when it comes to everyone just buying proxies from other sites, and technically you're not really supposed to sell fake Magic cards. You know, you're not authorized to do that, so that's another issue. Anyways, there is some hope and some good news. There is still a way to access Cardconjurer, and to this day I still use it. So for obvious reasons, I can't get into how to set it up, and I can't make a tutorial on that, but I will let you know it's not very hard to find if you just use the interwebs. But if you need assistance with it, I would be totally glad to help. I'll include our email. You can message me about it directly if you need assistance, just because it is a great asset to still be able to use. So yeah, anyways, now that I've talked your ear off, I think we should probably get started with this tutorial. First thing we're going to be doing is opening Cardconjurer, which I have open right here. And this will be a semi-full Cardconjurer tutorial because, again, some people might have to use other sites or different means to making their cards. But if you're planning on following this guide completely using Cardconjurer, you should be pretty familiar with how it works by the time we're done. So this is where I usually start on any project I begin with. We pretty much just need a card or idea, and then pretty much some artwork, and we can get this going. So one card that I've been wanting to make is a Vorinclex altar, the Monstrous Raider. So a cool trick you can do using the Import Save tab, you can actually enter in the card down here. So we can go Vorinclex, and you don't even need to do the whole thing, just enough to where it picks it up. So you can see it added all this stuff in here that we need. So now that we have that, it's time to go ahead and look for a frame that we want to use. So you can kind of go a few different ways with this. Some people, and me being one of those people, I love the nickname Godzilla feature. This is where you do it just like the Godzilla card, where you take the name and you change it and you make your altar truly unique in the sense that it has like a different name. So we'll start with that because it's a lot of fun, and with altars you might end up using this quite a bit. So we'll just grab our standard green frame, and then you have a couple different options here. We have this banner, or title I should say, or we have this title. You can actually go into other ones and mix the titles around. It's really cool how it works. Just to keep it simple, I'll just use this one, and then we can grab our power toughness. But I like to do things a little bit different when I make my altar, so I'm actually not going to grab this. I'm going to go in and grab from the Praetor set, which is right around here. I think I'm just blind. Oh yeah, it was up higher. Praetors. So we're going to go to Praetors. It's going to make that look a little funky for a sec. We're going to grab the green one, add that right there. And then we're also going to add a thing that I like to always add is an inner crown. So we'll just add that like that, and that adds a nice little banner to it. And then after that, we just go back to nickname Godzilla, make sure everything looks good. For whatever reason, because of the auto load, if you leave it on a certain like other frame style, it kind of messes with the settings. We're actually going to delete this set symbol here for right now. And then one thing that's important, you don't need to do this unless you're planning on getting your card printed through Makeplayingcards, and that is the 1/8 inch margin. You need to make sure you have that on there. It adds a little extender onto the card that makes it so your card doesn't look all chopped up and cut. Very crucial if you're using Makeplayingcards. If you're not, then you don't need it. As you can see with the text, it looks kind of weird. It looks like the text goes over the power and toughness. There's a pretty easy fix to that. I found if you just press spacebar a few times, it'll eventually fix it. So there we go, perfect. So if you ever notice that issue where it just goes over it, just press spacebar until it fixes that, and then you'll be good to go. So we have our base card, we have the settings already instilled. Next thing we want to do is our artwork, and this is one of the most important things. So we'll go ahead and grab our art, which I did already grab something here. This is a Attack on Titan art of Eren. I just got done watching the Attack on Titan premiere, so I'm feeling like an Attack on Titan altar is pretty appropriate. And so once you've picked your altar or your art on the internet, you just want to add it in here. As you can see with the picture, you can click and drag it. You can upscale, downscale. At minimum, the site always scales it exactly to the card, so if you shift it over on one side at all, you'll get this green, and that won't look good at all. So usually I upscale it a little bit till I kind of find where I'm at with how I like it. So I'd probably do something like this. Now when you do these altars, you can clearly see that his face is almost like completely just covered by the frame, which is unfortunate because it's a pretty cool, like this artwork is really cool. You can try to counter that by zooming in even more, and then you have a little bit more above to like lower it. So as you can see, doing that, I'm getting a lot closer to having that where I want it to be. So yeah, that looks a lot better. So you kind of just have to play around with it. Some artwork, this won't even be a problem, but with this artwork, since it's so big, it just happens to be like that. And then for the nickname, we just want to come up with whatever we want to name it. Humanity's Hope. I did notice with the power toughness, I'd rather it actually be black, just because it's kind of hard to see. So we go to our power toughness bar, and then there's this thing called text code mana symbol reference. This is where you can go in and really get creative with all this stuff. We're looking for the font color. We just put it right in front of it, and then where these lines are, delete them, just put the color. Black looks much better. A lot more easier to see. If you want to add flavor text, by the way, very easy to do. You just grab this flavor thing, we just put it right there, and then you see how it created a line. Now we can do like a Aaron AOT quotes. Ooh, that's a good one. And then to add the little area where you would add a spot for who it was by here, you use the insert and then the name. So just put Aaron Yeager. Is that how you spell Yeager? Y-E-A-G-E-R. Y-E-A. Got it. There you go. As you can see, you got a quote. Because of the quote, it obviously fixes the that issue where I had to press spacebar and now I no longer need to. So that's how you add your own flavor text. And then you can actually add your own, you can actually create your own set symbols, and I'll show you how to do that. With some cards like this, it feels like there's not really a whole lot of room. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to try to make a little bit of room for it. You can actually scale the font size. Okay, as you can see, just going in the text box editor, you can kind of shrink it down just enough to get a set symbol in there. So as you see, we have a lot more room for it now. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a set symbol. I already had pulled up a site for it. Sometimes if you get lucky, you can just type in like transparent. Oops, I spelled that wrong, but it's fine. And you might find like a PNG that's already scaled like that. A lot of the times though, it just ends up having a white box and it's super annoying. So in this example, I'm pretty sure we're gonna end up getting a white box. So let's see how it looks. Yep, see, you can see there's a big old white box right there, which looks pretty bad if you ask me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna modify our own. First, I would like to find one that looks a little bit better. This one has a nice higher quality, so we'll grab that one. Now, here's where we go in to mess with it. We're going to use a tool called Gimp. If you're not familiar with it, it's kind of like a Photoshop, but it's free and it's just different. I'm not super familiar with it. I'm still getting used to it, but it's a great tool for doing this. So here we have our symbol that we're going to use. You'll want to find out the dimensions. So here we have 920 by 661. So we're going to go to new. We're going to do 920 by 661. Then we're going to create another one, but this time you're going to hit advanced options, go fill with transparency. It's going to create a true transparency. Then all we have to do is drag in the image. Just like that. And then what we're doing here, and there might be a better way to do it, but for me this is how I do it. We're going to use our lasso tool and we're going to just cut the image and then paste it onto the transparent layer. I'll probably just speed up this part so you're not watching me cut it. It really doesn't take that long. It's only going to take me about a minute or two to do this. Boom. Alright. Literally took us like not even 60 seconds. So now all we do is paste it just like that. Don't even need to do anything else unless you're planning on editing colors or changing stuff about it, but we'll just go ahead and put it in whatever folder you're using. Just name it. So we'll just do it AOT set so we know what it is. I usually export it as a PNG, just so you know. Just like that. And then we go to our set symbol. As you can see, you can really truly see that there is no background. Drop it in like that, and you can see it looks good. But we do want to position this, so you'll use these things to position your set symbol. For me, I want it to be a little bit bigger, a little more noticeable. There we go. Perfect. Now you have your AOT set symbol. We got our art, everything looks good, our quote. So when we're done, we'll go ahead and download. But before that, you'll see that it says the artist here is Richard Witters. That was the artist for the original imported one. So because of how important it is to have your artist recognized, which I do have the site up for where I got this art. Looks like his name is Shimhack. So we'll go ahead and make sure we put him as the artist in that little spot. Shimmack. Just like that. Perfect. Now we'll go ahead and download our card. Sweet. Now one thing I like to do after I've done my download is I like to go into Paint and clean this up a bit. So we don't need this. We don't care about the set. It's not an actual set symbol. We don't need to put that, and we don't need the Wizard's copyright or the Cardconjurer on here. So then we'll just fill that, and then we'll just have the artist. So boom. Put that right up there. Okay. Looks good. Then we just hit save. And now normally I would say, you know, you're done there. It looks awesome. We got the altar on there. We could leave it at that, but we could also take it a step further to make this card really stand out and really pop out, and that's by putting art in front of the text and the borders. So in order to do that, you leave this card as is. This card's perfect, but we're going to go into our existing card, and we're just going to remove pretty much everything from it except how the art's positioned. So get rid of all this stuff. Now, because I'm only going to be altering the head, I don't even need to worry about any of this lower end stuff. I just needed to clear the top, so I'm just going to download another copy. And then this is where you will again go into Gimp, so you can either just leave this where it is or get rid of it. And then the standard sizing for Cardconjurer imports is 1632 by 2220 or 2220. So we're gonna, don't want that to be transparent. Let me just do the whatever color, and we're gonna make 2 copies, just like that. Now we'll go into our downloads. We'll grab both our altar and that new photo we just saved, or the new art we saved with everything kind of removed from it. Perfect. Now, just like we did with the set symbol, we're going to be using this tool again. This time, we're going to be seeing how much of this, so it's just the top part, so I'd say just below the eye and above, we want to cut it and add it into here. So I'm going to start right below the eye, go across like this, and then I'm going to do the same thing I did last time, where I cut what I want. Actually, I don't need that much. Let's just do it right from there. The more precise you can be with this, the better it'll turn out. But you don't have to be super, super precise. So again, I'll just speed up the video here until I'm done. Perfect, there we go. So just copy like we did before, bring it over to here. And now this part, you just want to make sure you line it up exactly on the spot. So as you can see, we can see this little dot here, and then we'll just pull it down until it looks like it's right how it should be, just like that. Make sure it looks good. Yeah. Then we'll right click and we'll hit anchor. Perfect. As you can see when we zoom out, it does cover the text, so if you want, you can either position that lower text to be further over to the left, or if you don't care and it's like a commander and you know what the card does, you can just leave it covering it how it is. See, it looks really cool. So we're just about done here. One thing I like to do, especially when using Makeplayingcards though, is I like to saturate it a bit and bring out some more vibrant colors. So I'll go to colors here, saturation, and then all you have to do is go to scale, and as you can see, as we scale it up, it gets more and more vibrant to the point where it's very, very saturated. So for me, I'm obviously not going to go that far up, but I like to go right about 1.5 to like 1.7 maybe. So it just enhances the colors, gets it more vibrant. So yep, everything looks good here. We'll just go ahead and export. You don't have to change anything, just make sure the compression level's all the way up. We want the quality to be good. And we have our full altar. Alright, so I thought we would just have time for one more through Cardconjurer real quick, and then we'll be moving on. So I'm going to go into Promos, Tall Art, and we're going to do a borderless frame. For this one, I wanted to do a little altar for Vishgraz. I thought that would be pretty cool. So we'll just type in Vishgraz since I just made a deck on him. Nice. Okay. And then, alright, so that's all good. Great. And then real quick here, I'll add my power toughness. Let's see. I'll just for the sake of the video, making it easy, I'll just do a standard one. But again, like I said, you can definitely look up different power toughness models. One way I do it without messing with anything is I uncheck auto load. And then if you go back into Showcase or back into your other frames, so you can put different things over them. Art Deco, like obviously that's not what I would choose, but like something like that. The Fang is pretty cool. The Equinox looks kind of cool. So yeah, you can pretty much choose whatever power thing you want. Like if you wanted to do Praetor again, you could. Then get rid of the other one. It's really up to you. I'll just do a Fang. Just why not? We'll do that. We'll do that frame. Okay, and then we'll recheck auto load. And then we're going to go ahead and go back to the 1/8 inch margin. Add your margin. Okay, looks good. And so this one right here, the second margin, is always going to be for your like borderless ones that look like that. This margin, the first one, is for cards that aren't borderless or extended art. And then these are all just extended art variations. So just to give you some context. So we have Vishgraz the Doom Hive, and now it's time for our art. I have already worked on one before, so I'm going to grab some art real quick. It was on the Gravemind from Halo as Vishgraz the Doom Hive. I thought it just looked really cool and creepy. The black and whiteness of it just looks super awesome. Because of the black and white, actually, I personally think it would look cool. So even though it is a multicolored creature, since it's your own altar, you have the freedom of really customizing the color that you want it to be. So for me, I feel like I would want it to look more darker and creepier. So you can actually go into your frame and edit the color of it with this right here. And as you can see, it'll start messing with the colors and try to find something that you like. So for me, I'm thinking Flood. This is Flood from Halo, so I kind of want like this weird like off green yellow, and then you can go in and darken or lighten it if you want it to be even brighter. It just kind of depends what you're looking for, and then you can even darken it further. So yeah, there we go. We have like this dark creepy green color. Actually get a little bit darker. Let's do it like that. There we go. We'll lower this down. Perfect. Obviously I need my power toughness to match, so you'll want to just remember what you did. So 34.7 minus 47. There we go. That way it's matching color and creepiness. Alright. Perfect. And then for a set symbol, if you want to add a set symbol, of course you can. You can do it the same way. I'm not going to do a set symbol on this one. We're just going to leave it as is. But yeah, it's just pretty much as easy as that. And then obviously make sure you include your artist that you want to do. For an altar like this, you don't even need to worry about all that post-editing stuff. I think it looks fine the way it is. You can always delete the frames, leave the text, and then just kind of go in here and play around with the different frame options. Like the most common one people use, including me, is just extended art regular. Because extended arts are nice. You just drop that in, drop a power toughness, and then your little frame, boom. You can change your text color if you want, move this all around. And then usually with the extended art ones, where it's not borderless, I like to put watermarks into these, just because it gives it some nice depth. So I'll show you just what a custom watermark ends up doing. It ends up looking pretty cool. I think I have a custom flood one that I made a while ago. So put like some flood dudes behind it, and if you alter the opacity, you can change how vibrant it is and how much of a background it is. Obviously, if you turn it all the way up, it's really hard to read the text. 40 is a good default. I usually go 50 if I want it to show up a little bit better. So yeah, that's that. I also have some other Halo set symbols I could use, but just for the sake of showing it, that's how it is. For something like this, I would actually change let's make that black. Yeah, looks much better like that. I think it's actually black by default. Yeah, it is. So yeah, and then you just get it positioned how you like it and just hit download. Alright, so we are all done with Cardconjurer. Now we're going to be moving on to MPCFILL. This is where you would go for any of the cards that you don't necessarily want to just do a custom version of yourself. You want to just grab something someone else did. For those of you that don't want to spend the kind of time to work on those cards, it's totally understandable, especially because a lot of people like to make altered cubes, and that's a lot of cards, and sometimes making an altered custom one for each card can take forever. So MPCFILL is where you'll want to go if you just know what cards you want, but you don't need to make them yourself, because you can find tons of cool stuff. So we'll just do a little mix of things here. So all you have to do is just enter what it is you're looking for. Make sure it's spelled correctly though. So for example, let's grab Traxa. So Praetor's Voice, just want to make sure you copy the exact spelling, otherwise MPCFILL won't find it. Once you have what you're looking for, go ahead and hit submit. Oh, yeah, so it's probably called Temple Garden, not Gardens. Makes sense. So that's a prime example of it not working. Alright, so you'll get these little slots here. So starting with the first one, if you want to look through the different ones, you can just do this. But the best way to do it is just to click into here, and it'll show you all the different ones people have made. Different custom altered ones. You can find some pretty cool ones. Like that's pretty with the art. But yeah, you just look through here, pick one that you want. There's a whole bunch of different ones people have made. There's tons of cool ones. And then once you end up finding a land that you want, you just click on it. So we'll just pick this here. Take a look at it, make sure it's something good, and then all you have to do is hit download image. That's it. Boom. Just give it a sec to download. And as you can see, most of these come already with the 1/8 inch margin completed. So the nice thing is they're already ready for MPCFILL. You'll know if it's completely square instead of rounded that it's already ready to go. I think like it's very rare you'll find one uploaded here that isn't. Every now and then you will, but for the most part they're already ready to go. So then move on to Atraxa. Obviously there's a bunch of really cool ones people have made. So you get to choose which one you want. There's some funky ones too, but there's a lot of really cool ones to choose from. Some people have done some, ooh my gosh, what is this? Yeah, that's pretty cool in the Phyrexian. So yeah, you just find the ones that you want that these people have made. Same with like basic lands if you want to have thematic basic lands. I mean, there's so many. You'll go on for ages here just looking at basic lands. But Magic the Gathering makes a lot of really cool basic lands already, so it seems kind of weird to do proxied basic lands unless you're going for a really thematic theme. So yep, that's pretty much all there is to MPCFILL. I don't do any of that stuff for generating the order. I just download my images and then get them ready for MPC later. The last thing I want to show you on MPCFILL is cardbacks. So right off to the right, no matter what cards you choose to select, you'll see this area right here. There's 281 options currently for cardbacks. These are all made by people just to give you a quick card back you can select and just use, because when you make an MPC fill order, you'll want to put card backs on them. As you can see, lots and lots of choices here. Proxy the Gathering. Lots of cool art. So, I mean, whatever you want to pick, it really doesn't matter. Yeah, anyways, you just click it and you download it. It's just like that. And that's pretty much it for MPC Fill. You just use this to get your downloaded images, and then once you have all those done, you can move on to make playing cards and get your order submitted. Alright, we are on Makeplayingcards.com. This is where you'll go to have your orders printed. I'll be giving you guys a full tutorial on what you need to do and the settings to choose. First things first, from the very main page, all you do is go to custom game cards right there and press start design. And then off to the right here where there's the size, you're going to select 2.48 by 3.46. I used to do 2.5 by 3.5. It's almost identical, it's just slightly bigger, but it doesn't fit perfect fits properly. So the proper setting is 2.48 by 3.46. Then once you've done that, you have a few options to choose from. You just choose the third option, custom game cards. Click it. Now, this is the most important step to get your order proper. Starting with cardstock, the only three for Magic that you would look at is S27, S30, and S33. By default, you should never use S27. Your options are S30 and S33. S30 is fine. I think it's a blue core. It'll actually tell you. Professional cardstock with a blue core. And then the S33 is just a better quality with a black core. So you're getting a better quality. So if you want to see price difference, for example, most people would do, if they were making one full commander deck, like let's just say 108 cards. 108 cards will cost you $29.75 before shipping. And then with standard stock, it is $26.15. So $3 more for all of your cards to be upgraded to a better, higher quality stock. It's hard to tell the difference really in person, but you're getting a higher quality card stock, so it's going to be more durable, and they claim it's just better quality. So I usually always just select S33. But if you do S30, you probably won't notice much of a difference. So either or is totally fine if you're on a budget. And then your size of the deck is just how many cards you're going to print in one order. You can go up to 612 if you want to do a ton of cards. The more cards you do, the better value you'll get, because the base flat shipping on here is pretty pricey, especially because it comes from out of country if you're in the US. So just be aware of that. Usually you probably will want to wait till you have at least, like, I would say at least 200 cards to make it worth your while, but you can get away with 100, and just for the purpose of this video, we'll just select 108. And then for print type, full color print should be your standard choice. The only other thing you might want to do is holographic, but my opinion on holographic, which after I show MPC, I will show how all of the cards look in real life after they've been printed, so you can judge for yourself. I personally don't like the looks of holographic. It darkens the cards, and it adds a coat or a layer over the top, so because of that, it darkens it. So it's really hard to get the cards to pop with that holographic front. So I would always recommend the full color print. For anyone who's curious about the gilded edges, it's very expensive, and it's only on the very corners of the cards, like on the sides, and it's mainly used for like poker cards, so you'll never need to do that. And as for high gloss and all that, it's confusing, and it's a complicated process, and it's not worth doing. So if you want to look into that, go ahead. There's a lot of work that you need to do to put on a high gloss card. So full color print always. And then for your finishes, MPC is just your standard finish. It feels and looks like a standard card. That's probably what you'll select on most options. As for what they look like, you can see looks very normal. Gloss, it's a little more glossy. And then beta finish is mainly meant for those types of cards to glide beautifully, effortlessly. And since we use sleeves and we don't do magic tricks, there's no point using beta finish, just MPC card finish is fine. I actually really like the way gloss finishes look, and I know it looks kind of weird in that image, but I'll show you what they look like in real life. I feel like the colors are way more vibrant. Yeah, they just look really good. In a sleeve too, it still looks nice. So you can go MPC or gloss, but the most standard is just MPC finish. Booklets, you don't need anything. Packaging, shrink wrapped, and it comes in a box automatically. All this adds a lot more to your price, so we just leave that defaulted, and you hit start design. So for right here, for image and text, you'll do different images because you're probably printing a bunch of different cards. As you can see here, everything's blank. Now what you'll need to do is just upload a card. So we'll take a couple of the cards we downloaded here. Let's add the fish grass. And I guess we can add the temple garden. So we'll select them, use drag and drop them right in here. It'll upload. Alright, and we're done. So you'll see any images once they've been uploaded, they're going to go right here. If you have enough images to autofill your entire list, you can just do help me autofill. Since you only have 2 cards, it's only going to put in 2. But once you put them all here, autofill will just drop them all in for you. And then this is where you get to see how the card will look after it's been edited. So you can see all the corners look really good. Nothing wrong there. The issue a lot of people run into is when they don't add their margins, their cards are going to look really weird, and I will show you exactly how that is. So we're just going to go onto here, just type in some random card, download the PNG. So as you can see, this is how the Mana Crypt looks. It's a scan. It's rounded. It doesn't have the margin. So if we put that into here, I'll show you how awful it looks. It's even going to probably tell you it's a low res because it's not recognizing the margin. Yeah. Alright, let's see how awesome this looks. There we go. Look at how the card is just cut. And a lot of people have this issue. If you do not do the margins, you will always see it look terrible and the card will not turn out right. So, very important to do. Once you've got all your cards uploaded and filled out, we'll go to the next step. I'm just going to literally put in a bunch of random stuff here, and then just for the sake of the video, so I'll be right back once I've done that. Alright everyone, so I got everything uploaded here. I added a bunch of other altars that I've already made in the past, and I just put them in sets of 4 just for the sake of the video to make it quicker. So as you can see here, I have all my altars entered in. Alright, so once we're all done there, you just hit next step. And then for this step, you're not actually going to need to add extra text, so you just skip it and go to next step. The add text to front and back is only if you don't know how, or if you want to add some kind of post-edited card text onto there somewhere, but you usually shouldn't need to. And now for this step, we're adding the card back. Now if you're doing a deck where all of the back is just going to be the one card, you would do same image. If you have multiple card backs you're going to use, you do different images, and then you'll upload multiple in the same way. But since we're just going to do one image, I'll hit same. And then that way we're only dragging in one card. I picked just a random boring one on MPCFILL, just something simple. Once you have it in, you hit next step. And we don't need to add any text, so we hit next step. Then we're gonna get a preview of what everything looks like. Since it's all the same card back, it's all just gonna look like that. But just for the people that will be doing maybe bigger cubes and might need multiple cards, we can actually change this. Let me see here. I think if you go to add text and then back to customize back, I think there's a way we can do this. Which way up? Yeah. different images. Perfect. Now, our front should all still be there. Perfect. So then for customize back, if you were going to actually add multiple backs, then you would just double click them in or drag them in for which cards you'd want. So going to MPCFILL, we'll just grab another card back just to show you how it looks. Another minimalist back. Looks very simple. So then we just put that, put that right into, sorry. God, it's being difficult, sorry. There you go. You put your second one in and then you just do the same thing. Double click them in or drag them in. So obviously, if you're gonna have a big batch with a lot of different card backs, it's very meticulous. So yeah, just keep that in mind, and then you can obviously just autofill the rest. I didn't fill them all out, so that's because I'm just gonna go back to one. Alright, make sure everything looks good. Then at the bottom, it says confirm all images, names, and other content are correct and own copyright or have authorization to use them. Then add to cart. Okay, and then right here is where you can see kind of the details of your order. If you want to add more or go straight to checkout, it's just a confirmation, because you can add multiple orders and separate them and then all add them together at the end. And you can also save your designs in progress if you need to work on them at another time. But since we're done here, we'll go to checkout. Add a box, no thanks. We'll just check out as a guest. Choose a payment method, do a card. And then to find out on shipping, we'll just need to choose some kind of address. Alright, as you can see, we entered just some random info. Seattle, Washington, standard with tracking, $12. Express with tracking is obviously way more. So you'd want to pick the standard option. So with tracking and shipping, you'd be looking at about $40, which is the price of a commander deck. And it all depends on where you live on how much that's going to be. All you do is enter in your info and hit submit. If there are any coupons to look up, definitely do so. I don't know if there really usually are very often, but yeah, that's pretty much it for Make Playing Cards. And in the next portion, we'll be showing what everything looks like once it's received. Alright, so as we can see here, we have a Ulamog I printed a long time ago, just a regular full colored card with the default MPC finish. As you can see, the coloring looks good on it. Just pick some random Pickle Rick card back. Bends, feels just like a Magic card. Looks nice. Then we have a foil version of it. So in the video, it doesn't look bad, but I'm telling you, it's very dull, very colorless, and very dark. So as you can see, you can immediately see a very darker version of it. And I know foils normally are like that, but it really is way darker. So if you're okay with the colors getting muted and the art to be a lot darker, it's not the worst, but it is going to be more expensive. Then we just have a regular mana drain I printed a while ago. This is again full color print, regular finish. Here we have a Sliver Legion. This actually turned out not too shabby. It's weird. It looks a lot better than normal. And then also a Sliver Hive Lord. They don't look bad, but again, they're muted. Now here's an example of two foils I actually made myself. I used to make my own proxies just by defoiling actual Magic cards just to use at home. As you can see, the colors are more vibrant on my version. Just basically putting it over a real foil, you can really tell the difference between theirs and what an actual foil would essentially look like, just to give you some perspective. Alright, next we have some Zelda lands. The set is just, again, full color MPC card finish, and they're very high quality arts, so you can see. And then here we have foil. This is actually foil glossy. You can't really tell much of a difference other than it's way darker, but it does pop the color out a little bit better. So if you really look at the difference, it's extremely dark comparatively. You're missing out on a lot of detail. Again, it doesn't look terrible. It's not bad. It's just, in my opinion, I like the non-foils better. As you can see with the full gloss on the back, it very sheen, very color poppy. And then here, last, we have 3 of basically the same card. A couple of them I added extra stuff to, but this is going to be a Shaltir altar from my original Overlord deck. This is just your standard full color print with MPC finish. As you can see, it looks great. Colors look nice. It's a good looking card. Feels good. No issues. This is going to be the same but glossy. The art's slightly moved. I moved it, and it has a different card back. But as you can see, the colors are way more vibrant and very glossy looking. And then we have our foil. Colors are very dull and muted. Doesn't look terrible, but depending on your light source, it can look really bad. I mean, just doing a quick comparison between all 3, it's pretty noticeably different which one has the best color. So just keep that in mind when you do make your proxies on what's important to you. If you really want the art to show, then the glossy is the way to go. The MPC fill looks just fine though. You don't need to do the glossy. But comparing to the foil just mutes the colors, and no matter how much saturation I add, it doesn't seem to fix it. So that's just my opinion on it. Hopefully after seeing all these printed, you guys will kind of have an idea of what you would like now. I know it really helps being able to see the cards when they're printed and finished. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this little section of getting to know what the cards look like after they've been printed. Okay, so now we are at the last and final step. By now you've either created your cards on Cardconjurer, downloaded and found all the cards you want from MPCFILL, you've edited the cards however you've liked, and everything's ready to go. So you'll put your cards up on Makeplayingcards.com. You'll get everything submitted, paid for, and hopefully everything gets approved. There are some instances where certain arts, depending on like what genres they're from, I know Pokemon's one that is very, you're probably not going to be able to get Pokemon stuff printed. There's certain things that are really big and popular that they may tell you can't get that printed. So just keep that in mind and be flexible with that. I know there are ways to kind of help if you ever run into that problem. You can always add onto the front or back somewhere in text, not for sale, custom proxy only, things in that regard, so that the card is clearly labeled in a way that can't be resold. That will definitely go a long way. But other than that, once you're submitted, the hardest part begins, which is waiting for your cards. On average, I would say it takes about 3 to 4 weeks to receive your cards, about a week's time from the date you submit it before it enters production and gets shipped, and then 2 to 3 weeks for the shipping, especially if it's overseas. I would say on average I wait 3 to 4 weeks, so it can be rough to wait and you can get impatient, but I mean, they provide a tracking number as soon as they have it, and yeah, you just gotta play that waiting game. But I'll tell you what, when you get your cards in the mail, it's just such a good feeling when you get to look through them all and see what your project turned out as and be able to just start playing right away. So yeah, well, I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. I think I covered pretty much everything that I can think of with all the updates that have gone through. Again, if you need to access Cardconjurer or some type of program to make your cards with, I will have my email in the description below. Feel free to message me, and I will try to get to everybody as quick as I can on assisting with this. And I hope you guys have a great day.